Officer Dave, would you open the courtroom for us?
The state of Michigan 36th District Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge David S. Robinson Jr. presiding. Court is now in session. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good morning, Counsel.
Morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm not bad. How about yourself?
Oh, ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We are on the record. This is file 22180-871, American Express versus Francois Jackson. By a notice dated September 19th, this is the date and time for the plaintiff's motion for entry of default judgment. Could I have your appearance?
Yeah, sure. Good morning again, Your Honor. Attorney Jason Brainer, P69653, on behalf of American Express National Bank.
All right. Have you received any pleadings from the defendant in this file?
No, not since the filing of this motion, Your Honor.
Okay, because the defendant's default has been entered in this matter, and this is the date and time set for the hearing. But I have 3 people in my waiting room who I cannot identify. So if you just wait a moment, I can check and see if any of them are here on your file.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one and see who this person is. Hello?
Hello,
Who are you?
Ananias Spratt.
All right, Mr. Spratt, let me make sure I know who you are.
Okay,
Okay, I'll get back to you. I'll put you back in my waiting room.
okay.
Hello?
Chris.
Hello?
Hello,
What is your name?
Francois Jackson.
Okay, then you're the person.
Yes, sir.
We are calling 22180-871 American Express versus Francois Jackson. Date and time.
Yes, sir.
Motion for the entry of default judgment. Your appearance.
Yes, sir. What the
Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna let
Yes,
you know.
sir. Say, yes, sir.
Counsel. You're muted, Mr. Brainer.
Sorry.
Try it again.
Jason Brainer, P69653, on behalf of American Express National Bank.
And your name, sir.
Francois Napoleon Jackson.
All right, Mr. Jackson, did you file a motion to set aside the default in this matter?
I don't know.
Okay. Mr. Brainer, your
All,
motion.
all I've received was this last document from saying I was default, but initially they said that the case was dismissed.
Mr. Brainer,
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So this is the date and time set for our motion for entry of default judgment. As you recall, Your Honor, we were here on September the 9th. At that time, there was a pretrial conference that was set by this court, and we were both scheduled to be there. And defendant had failed to appear for that pretrial conference at that time, which led to this honorable court entering a default against defendant, who's now here today. And at that time, you've also requested, Your Honor, that we file this current motion for entry of default judgment, which we did do. And I would note that back in April of 2022, we did personally serve a copy of the summons and complaint in this matter on the defendant. And so that brings us to our current motion for entry of default judgment per your request today, Your Honor. To date, defendant hasn't filed an answer. However, he is here, he is present today. But as you do know, Your Honor, you cannot proceed in an action until you've correctly set aside the default that's been entered against you. And so that was entered on September the 9th. So technically, defendant could not proceed in today's action without having first set that aside. And so we would respectfully request, pursuant to MCR 2.603 B3, that our motion for entry of default judgment be granted at this time for the sum certain amount of $10,532.09 plus our costs, which are $223.40, which brings it to a total of $10,755.49. We do have a proposed judgment attached as Exhibit 3. Your Honor, that being said, if this honorable court does grant our motion today, Mr. Jackson is not foreclosed from negotiating on this account with us. We do often settle things post-judgment, and we do continue to work with people. So I will put that out there as well. Should this honorable court grant our relief here today.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, just so the record is clear, on August the 12th, 2002, this court granted a motion to set aside the dismissal and reinstate the case. You were sent a copy of that order. Also, on August 12th, 2002, you were sent notice of a pretrial conference on September 9th, 2022. When you failed to appear, the default was entered. You are precluded, since you have not filed a motion to set aside the default, from proceeding further in this matter. The motion set to enter the default judgment will therefore be granted. Mr. Jackson, you have an absolute right to appeal my decision. That appeal must be perfected within 21 days today in the Wayne County Circuit Court. Thank you all for coming in. We are off the record.
All right, Your Honor, just one quick point of clarification, if I may. So will you be signing the order attached as Exhibit 3?
Yeah,
I'll
use that.
Okay.
It is consistent with the relief sought in your complaint.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. Have a good weekend.
You too. Morning, Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Spratt, are you there?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here this morning.
Okay, we're on the record. This is 22-189-569, Citibank versus Anais Spratt. Date and time for pretrial, your appearances.
Yes, Your Honor. Gavin Gray, P79819 for the plaintiff, Citibank.
And tell us your name again, sir.
Ananias Spratt.
Mr. Spratt, We were last together on September 16th. At that time, the court ordered you to send a copy of that 4-sheet letter that you had sent to the court to the plaintiff's counsel. Did you do that?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you receive that, Mr. Gray?
What I've received most recently, Your Honor, is an answer. And the answer has 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have 4 attachments to the answer here.
That's what I ordered him to send you.
Okay,
So where are we on this file, gentlemen?
so I'm reviewing over his answer as well as the attachments here. And the attachments show an account with Credit First. I'm assuming that's some sort of bank, or a credit issuing group out of Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm having a hard time connecting how that relates to the Goodyear account that is backed by Citibank here.
Mr. Spratt,
Yes, Your Honor.
how are these documents that you sent related to the case here, which is coming out of the Goodyear claim that being raised here?
Well, Your Honor, my sister's here and she's a witness. She did the paperwork. for me.
No. Is she a lawyer licensed to practice law in the state of Michigan?
No, Your Honor, she's not.
And sir, she may not be heard.
Okay.
So, well, what are these documents that you sent, what are they supposed to tell us about this case? That's what I'm asking.
Well, Your Honor, I didn't open up a credit account with Goodyear. I didn't open that account up. Someone used my name, my birthday, and my address for an account, for a credit card account, but it wasn't me, Your Honor.
Okay. So Mr. Gray, he's saying that this is not an account. You guys have a fraud package?
I believe we do. We've submitted the claim. We've submitted a claim for fraud to the client, and they've done an investigation. They concluded that that the defendant did receive benefit from the credit account that was backed by Citibank. The statements and all these are sent to Mr. Spratt's address.
Okay. Well,
It's the same address he was served to.
well, obviously not going to settle the case today. So I'm going to give you guys another date, and I'm going to continue your written discovery. That's date,
Okay.
November the 18th at 10 o'clock. Does that work for everybody?
Yes, 11/18.
November 18th at 10 o'clock. Does that work for you, Mr. Spratt?
Oh, Your Honor, what did you want me to do?
Sir, I can't give you legal advice. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that if you want to represent yourself, you can absolutely do that. What I wanted you to do, you have done, which is to follow the court rule and provide everything you send to the court to the other side. Now, what you do after that, I can't tell you what to do. I don't represent you. I'm not a lawyer here. I'm the umpire. I'm not a player. I'm not in the game. I call balls and strikes. That's all I do. I cannot give legal advice to either side. So we'll see you guys again, November 18th at 10 o'clock. Now,
Yes, Your Honor, if I may.
Sir,
We did send out a discovery request to Mr. Spratt on 8/30, so it'll be August 30th of 2022, and we haven't received a response to the discovery request yet. I'd like to confirm if he received it.
what did you send, counsel?
It was a pretty in-depth discovery request. It was a list of interrogatories and a plethora of requests asking for documentation that he would have to back his claims.
Did you receive those pleadings, Mr. Spratt?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
All right, send them again, counsel, this time with a proof of service. Send this
Okay.
time a copy of what you send to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
November 18th, excuse me, November 18th at 10 o'clock, gentlemen. Your written discovery continues. Is there anything else we can do today?
No, Your Honor, not this time. I do have an 11 o'clock with you, though.
Okay, well, I can't do you 11 o'clock now. Come back.
Yep, I understand.
You want to stay in the waiting room or you want me to remove you?
I can stay in the waiting room. That's fine.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. Come in, Mr. Spratt. We're off the record.
All right, thank you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hi,
What is your name?
Ebony Jones.
Hello?
Hi,
No, I see you. I'm looking for the other side. All right, he must be on another call. Ms. Jones, I'll come back to you. Wait a minute.
okay.
No, he's here with the wrong case number again. This is file number 22-185507, credit acceptance versus Ebony Jones appearances.
Judge, may it please court, I am Attorney Richard Gruson. I'm the attorney of record of the plaintiff. I'm also the petitioner today in plaintiff's motion to set aside dismissal and all the other things in the caption.
And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Ebony Jones.
Ma'am, this is plaintiff's motion to set aside dismissal and reinstate the case. Did you file an answer to that motion?
No, I haven't done anything. I'm just receiving papers in the mail.
All right, counsel, your motion.
Judge, my motion speaks for itself. I really have nothing else to say other than the written documentation. Therefore, I would rest on my pleadings and ask that you grant my petition.
The court has had an opportunity to read your pleadings. There's no demonstration of prejudice to the defendant by reinstating the case. Your unopposed motion to reinstate the case will therefore be granted. The court will set the matter for pretrial. Your pretrial will be November 18 at 10 o'clock. Does that work for you, Ms. Jones?
Yes,
That work for you, counsel?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
All right, we'll send out an order. Thank you both for coming in. We're off the record.
Thank you.
thank you.
We are on the record calling file 22184973 Forest Health Medical versus Jennifer Kenyon. Could I have your appearance?
For the record, Your Honor, Stuart Collis, P49530 on behalf of the plaintiff. Good to see you again, Your Honor. Missed you.
Good to be seen and not viewed, Mr. Collins.
All right.
This is the plaintiff's motion to enter default judgment by a notice dated September 26, 2022, and sent to the parties on that date. The matter set for hearing today at 10 o'clock. It's now 10:24. Could I have, Mr. Collins, have you received any pleadings in regard to the, excuse me, this motion?
I have not received any response to this motion, Your Honor.
All right, it appears that the defendant was personally served with summons and complaint. Thereafter, a default was entered, and it appears that the default was copy of the default was sent to the plaintiff on August the 31st. Sir, your motion.
Your Honor, defendant having been served, not member of the military, not having responded at this time, we'd ask for the entry of a default judgment. Damages in the amount of $3,726.76. Court costs in the amount of $159.49. Statutory attorney fee of $75 for a total amount of $3,961.22.
Mr. Collins, that appears to be consistent with the relief sought in your complaint. Your unopposed motion, sir, for entry default judgment is therefore granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have those copies of those orders right
I have it along with your motion. Yes, sir.
Thank you so
Come
much.
again, and be safe.
You too. Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you. We're off the record. WRCJ. Small town Young. 76 and 1909. I have to say, for performance of his violin concerto in D major. Musicians with BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra, and violin soloist Tasman Little. Karlovich was killed in an avalanche. Well, good morning to you. It is 29, actually, it's not, past the hour, 10 o'clock. Of course, the FM. Ron Nolan sitting here for the midday music program, abbreviated version. Coming up in just 10 minutes from right now, we're going to join Peter Wolf and Dave Wagner for the first season broadcast here on WRC. Weather forecast for today, calling for cloudy skies with a high of 61 tonight, but for cloudy skies and occasional rain showers. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll have intervals of clouds and sunshine, 54 degrees. Clouds overnight in the low of 41. Sunday, expect a sun cloud mix in the morning, followed by cloudy skies. Right now, we've got 47 degrees Fahrenheit out of Detroit. 60 degrees Celsius. RCJ comes from Bank of Ann Arbor. They can't help you avoid robocalls. They can't help you avoid the bank. BankofAnnArbor.com. Member FDIC. The new and returning member challenge from K&L Huberty is on. $5,000 per dollar challenge matching your gift of inspiring classical and jazz music. CJ. Support the commercial-free music you love. Right now is the time to call 866-909-9725 or go to donate now to WRCJ.
Music of Michael Pretorius for you. From his Fancies from Symphony. Performance there by the early music consort of London, David Monroe. Going to join the Detroit Symphony Orchestra live on Orchestra Hall in 5 minutes from right now. Take us to that point a bit of time. Good morning from Orchestra Hall. Today, opening broadcast of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra's 2022-23 season. The broadcast brought to you in part by a generous donation from Gregory Hayes and Richard Sonnenfeld. On the program today, music of the classical style, including Sergei Prokofiev's First Symphony, Joseph Haydn's First Cello Concerto, Jan Soltani is our soloist. And that's the first half of today's broadcast. After an intermission, we're going to showcase the music of one Joseph Bellon, known as the Chevalier de Saint-Georges, and then we'll conclude with Mozart's 38th Symphony, the Prague Symphony. Our intermission features a chat with Peter and recent DSO guest conductor Fabian Gabel. Their conversation marks the occasion of the DSO anniversary. 2022 brings us the 70th anniversary of legendary DSO music director Paul Paret's arrival in the Motor City. Maestro Paret led our ensemble to worldwide concert and recording acclaim through one of its most glorious decades. Fabian Gabel's parents, too, a little side note before we get into the concert. This conversation at intermission time, a little side note about it. Fabian Gabel's parents were in an orchestra that Paul Paret conducted to the great Detroit Symphony Orchestra music director of the mid-20th century. So Fabian Gabel will have some of the inside scoop. Oh, interesting. Paul Paret got something coming up at intermission. Yeah, you talk about history repeating itself. We still have, thank goodness, these great Mercury Living Presence recordings with Paul Paret and the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Talk about recordings that stood the test of time. Many of them were recorded right here at Orchestra Hall in Detroit. And for people that don't know the history of this hall, it was closed for a number of years. And it was just used in the late 1950s as a recording venue for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, where after a while, the bad shape that they had recorded. But now we're back again, Orchestra Hall. Dave, I remember those days when we almost lost Orchestra Hall in the 1970s. You hosted the recent Detroit Public TV documentary about the history and rebirth of Orchestra Hall. It was one of my first jobs, ushering here as a volunteer announcer when I was a kid back in the day in the 1970s. And now we have this glorious addition to our hall, fully refurbished, one of the beautiful concert halls in the world. It's called Detroit's Acoustic Gem, absolutely recently. Not had a chance to be here in Midtown Detroit. I highly recommend grabbing yourself a ticket to hear the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. They're about to play Sergei Prokofiev's Symphony No. 1, known as the Classical Symphony to Open. Yeah, this piece from 1917 is some of Prokofiev's most popular and characteristic music, although in a lot of ways he's kind of channeling the spirit of Haydn and Mozart. In fact, Prokofiev himself named the symphony the Classical Symphony. This music came about during this creative explosion of Prokofiev's creativity, a time when he wrote three of his finest works. His diary gives us these clues. He said, I look forward with joyous anticipation to the piano concerto number 3, the violin concerto, and the classical symphony. There he says it in his own words. Symphony. My true friends will see that the style of my symphony is precisely Mozartian classicism and will value it accordingly, while the public will no doubt just be content to hear happy and uncomplicated music, which it will, of course, applaud. a work of genius. And, classical style, that's right, it's very approachable. It's the bedrock of what we think of as symphonic literature. Symphonies of Haydn, symphonies of Mozart. And today, which is also really interesting, we have another gem. A guy that was called the Chevalier de Saint George. Joseph Boulogne music. We'll hear his second symphony. He was the composer of 2 symphonies, 6 operas, but the guy was really a violin specialist. He was one of the great violin virtuosos of the Mozart, Boulogne era, right? I mean, he wrote 14 violin concertos. He rose to prominence in a society that valued his musicianship, but was prejudiced against him. He was also this morning. Yeah, Waterloo family in the Caribbean. We'll hear Joseph Boulogne's music coming on the second half of our program. The PBS Classical Series is brought to you by PBS Chemicals. At this time, please take a moment to silence all electronic devices. We appreciate your cooperation and so will your fellow audience members. Thank you and enjoy the performance. Listeners throughout the state of Michigan, whatever service you're tuning into this morning, Interlochen Public Radio, Central Michigan University Radio, Michigan State University Radio, Western Michigan University, and also our friends in Los Angeles, KMCT, and Beverly Hills, and KDG. In Los Angeles, you gotta be in a meeting on the podium right now. This broadcast concert live from Orchestra Hall. Symphony Orchestra. Welcome to our orchestra hall for this new program. Today we have a treatment through the classicism. The music classicism is the period between 1700 and 1800. And the most important composers of this period are Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven. Today we have 2 of them. In the first part, we have the cello concerto by Haydn, very important piece of so starting and the applause of this. It features 3 movements. The first one is reminds us something of the Baroque style. The second movement is a beautiful romance with a beautiful melody. And the last movement is so sparkling and fast. And we have the opportunity to have here for the first time Kian Soltani, that is a terrific soloist, and I'm sure that you will enjoy his performance. And we decided to open our concert with a piece by Prokofiev. Not about classicism, but he decided in 1917 to compose his first symphony. The title of this symphony is Classical Symphony. He composed this symphony inspired by Haydn's style, but with new elements. Prokofiev said if Haydn was alive in that days, he would compose in his way, with his old style, but with new elements. It's like to see a very classical painting like Mona Lisa or like Botticelli, but with other elements in a different style, maybe by Picasso or by Van Gogh, but perfectly mixed. And I'm sure that you will be able to understand when you are listening to Haydn's style or Prokofiev's style, because suddenly the orchestra changes sound. We have sudden accents or forte subito, and they change sound and then come back in the only the time and stuff. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the music.
Mr. Gray,
Okay, yep.
what file are you here on? I don't have a Citibank file at 11 o'clock.
That was the 10 o'clock, Your Honor. I was in the waiting room and I couldn't change it.
Okay, what file are you here on?
I'm here on the LVNV funding file. It's 21-172-105.
Okay, that's half the battle. I know why you're here. See, I don't see someone identified as Mr. Loving as of yet.
Okay,
Go back to the waiting room.
okay, all right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is file number 222422426. Mildrika Williams versus Simro Investments LLC. Your respective appearances.
Odrika Williams.
Good morning, Your Honor. Danian Woodson, P68870 on behalf of the defendant Simro Investments LLC.
Okay, you guys have a case evaluation date?
It was
No, Your Honor.
Tuesday, the 11th.
I'm sorry?
It was Tuesday, the 11th at 10 o'clock
Tuesday, the 11th of what month?
of October. It was this Tuesday.
Your Honor, I never received any notification from anyone regarding a case evaluation.
It was email. It was emailed to me and the defendant.
I set the file, order was set on September 16th. It seems most unlikely to me that a case evaluation will be done in less than 30 days. And if they filed a case evaluation, the requirement is that both sides be notified. Did you go to the case evaluation, Ms. Williams?
Yes, I did, and I paid the fee, which was $75. You said
What happened?
wanted it. They ruled in my favor.
No, they don't make that kind of
Well,
evaluation.
they made a judgment or whatever the case may be.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. Ms. Williams, Ms. Woodson, you're gonna have to find out what's going on here.
I will, Your Honor.
I'm going to give you guys another date. And if there was a case evaluation that you were not notified, then you do, whatever lawyers have to do. Next time with me will be November 18th at 11 o'clock. Does that work for everybody?
That does. Is that a pretrial or a trial date, Your Honor?
It's a pretrial because I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this case evaluation.
Same, Your Honor.
All right.
One moment, Your Honor. Okay. November 18th?
November 18th at 11 o'clock.
Okay, that works, Your Honor. Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys then.
Thank you.
Send out an order. Thank you for coming in. We're off the record.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, geez. What's left? Good morning, Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor.
What file brings you here today?
It is case number 22187-684. Select Specialist James Whiteley is the claimant's name.
Okay, I think I have the other side. All right, gentlemen, this is file number 22187-684. Select Specialist LLC versus ASU Group Suburban Mobility Authority. Appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mohammed Musa on behalf of plaintiff, P number 84297.
Morning, Your Honor. Joseph Giacalone, P85482, appearing on behalf of the defendants in this case.
Okay, you guys have had your written discovery open for a while. Are you both done with your written discovery?
So we sent written discovery and we received answers back, Your Honor. I don't believe plaintiff ever sent us discovery in this case. I talked to Mr. Musa's partner earlier today about this. We were potentially going to send over a stipulation in order in lieu of filing a motion for summary disposition as to the ASU group because they don't have liability under the No Fault Act. But other than that, we're just trying to go through the settlement negotiations and getting authority from defendant Smart for this case.
All right, then this is what I'll do. Is I'm going to give you guys another date. I'm going to close your written discovery. And hopefully by the time we're back together, we should have our proper parties before the court. And you guys should be moving on getting this file resolved. Does November the 18th, November 18th, does that work for both of you? At 11 o'clock? That works for everybody?
I'm sorry, you said which time, Your Honor?
11 o'clock like today?
That works, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Mr. Musa, what's your claim here?
Total is, Your Honor, I believe 3,100.
Now, you know what I would do if this were real life. For $3,100, I invite lawyers up to the bench. I get a handful of head in one hand, handful of head in the other hand, and I bang heads together until we settle the case. Unfortunately, I can't do that on screen. So you guys, you do my job. Let's get this matter settled. November 18th, 11 o'clock, your written discovery is now closed. Thank you, gentlemen. Is there anything else we need to accomplish today?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, appreciate you coming in. Let's be safe out there.
Wonderful
You too.
weekend.
Record.
Thank you.
Now, he's got. Yes. Let's keep this in here. Good morning. This is 21170-332 Jefferson Capital System versus Charlene Staley. Appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mimi Kalish, my P number is 52383 on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, Ms. Kalish, as usual, I am confused. I'm not understanding why I got a motion for reconsideration when I granted your motion.
Right. I think that today's date was just a control date, Your Honor. In the interim, we have submitted a default judgment under the 7-day rule for the amount you and I discussed at the last hearing, which was the settlement amount that was put on the record on February 18th, 2022. So I submitted that for a judgment to enter in the amount of $852.
What I'll do, Kayla, I'll just go ahead and I'll enter that judgment and there'll just be no decision on the motion for reconsideration.
That's what I intend. Your Honor.
Usually I get those motions when people disagree with my decision. And I usually, people who win don't disagree.
No, today was control date. And in the interim, you said either we could request a transcript, find out actually what was said at that February hearing, or we could just submit the judgment for the settlement amount plus costs, which is what we did.
Which is what was placed on the record, right?
Does the court have the judgment?
I have the notice of the submission of the judgment.
Right, okay, very good.
And it's provides order for default judgment in the amount of $852 in principal, court costs of $155, the statutory attorney fee totaling $108,214.
Correct.
We'll enter that for you today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Always nice to see you.
Good to see you. Let's be safe out there.
Okay, you too. Thank you, sir.
Have a good day. Okay, we are on the record calling 2-1-172-105 LVNB funding versus Daryl Loving. The matter before the court today is a hearing set on the defendant's motion for entry of default judgment. That matter was originally scheduled for September 30th. Unfortunately, someone called in a bomb threat, which sort of interrupted the court's docket that day. Yeah, we spent a couple hours outside. It was a nice day though, so it wasn't all bad. Could I have your appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. Gavin Gray, P79819 for the plaintiff, LVNB funding.
Have you received any pleadings from the defendant here?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
The reason I set this matter for hearing is there's a discrepancy between the amount asked for in your complaint, which was $1,169.25, and the damages claimed in your proposed judgment, $1,191.42.
I'm looking at a copy of the complaint right now. Maybe in the scanning, something got smudged up. And the complaint I'm looking at, we have assigned 11/16/21.
Yep.
Was $1,191.42.
Mine says $1,169.25. I'm looking at it, and mine has an original signature on it.
Okay. Let's see here, Daryl Loving.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going, I'll check the electronic records here, Your Honor, and see what's going on here. That's interesting. Okay, so we got. Okay. Yeah, our electronic records are not showing any credits or any payments. We still have it at.
Well, there's no way my problem is that the amount has increased. 1169.25 is less than the amount sought on your judgment, 1191.42.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm not sure what the issue is because I have a copy of the complaint here, and it is showing the higher amount. I believe this person does have two accounts, but the other account is let me see if maybe the accounts got mixed up. Okay, so let's see what's in. No, on this account, it's a even larger amount. I don't know what how the discrepancy happened here. I believe we would be okay in the default judgment amount being for 1,169. Otherwise, we could submit a default an updated default judgment, and I can reflect the amount that you have in the complaint that you're looking at.
Yeah, the
I don't
amount,
know.
I can't enter an amount by default that's greater than the amount paid for in the complaint.
Right, yeah, that's where I'm confused. We can submit a new default if you prefer, Your Honor.
Let me ask you this. Is your file RS 834195?
It's 4441.
Okay, well, I'm looking at your complaint. Go into file number RS 834195.
Okay, RS.
834195.
Okay. Yes, this file is showing an amount for 1,169.25.
Yeah. That's what was filed with the court. Send me a default in that amount plus your costs and attorney fees.
Okay, all right, Your Honor. I may have pulled up the wrong case or printed off the wrong complaint. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think what happened is that when you printed up the default judgment, you pulled up the wrong file.
I believe so. I apologize for the mistake, Your Honor.
Mistakes happen. Let's fix it. Thanks.
Okay,
Have a good day.
all right, thank you very much.
Be safe. We're off the record.